overview for week 8, day 50 through 53. So, as you can probably see, I chose to go into the Sierra. My shin splint is non-existent now, thank goodness. I'm like at 10,500 feet right now, so there's still a little bit of a mountain top up there, but anyway, not so much oxygen up here, but so if I'm breathing heavy, that's why I'm a little bit affected by higher elevation climbs. So anyway, overview. So day 50, I was feeling the pull of Kennedy Meadows, so I hiked about 20 miles and set up camp in this really interesting area with like a really old car. And it looked like it was a dwelling at one point, like a long time ago. So it was kind of a cool spot. Met up with friends there. It was a climb too. For those of you future PCT hikers, there are quite a few big climbs to get into Kennedy Meadows. So just FYI. Stopped there for the night. Had a good time with friends, just sitting in a circle eating dinner. And next day I got up at 5 a.m. and tried to kind of savor the last day in the desert, even though I had a 21-mile day that day to get into Kennedy Meadows. So I wanted to go fast, but I also wanted to go slow because it was my last day in the desert and I was feeling a little nostalgic. So yeah, met up with my friends while I was hiking, and there was this one point in the morning where I went over, there was a little bit of a climb in the morning, so I went over the crest of that, and I just saw snowy mountains, the snowy mountains of the Sierra, just like panoramic status. I saw Mount Whitney too, so it was just beautiful, and I had to stop there. I probably stopped there for about an hour to just take it in, and made me a little nervous because there was so much snow. But yeah, it was such a beautiful sight, and a good like last day of the desert ushering me into the Sierra. So that was really beautiful, and saw my first big river of the trip. So the Kern River, the PCT goes right alongside of it. So that was a nice sight too. Water is not an issue in the Sierra, especially with all the snow melt. So that was really nice to see after the desert. So I soaked my feet for a little while, had lunch, and then passed 700 miles and made it into Kennedy Meadows. So when you go into Kennedy Meadows, there's a general store near there where hikers resupply, and well, there's some snow up there, so I'm gonna stop. But so I walked up to the general store, and it's kind of a tradition for the hikers there to clap when someone walks in, because it signifies the end of the desert section, 700 miles. So I was walking with my friends Hop Along and Pop Top, and we took some pictures, and a little bit before that, because there's like this Kennedy Meadows sign where everybody takes a photo and then walk in to the general store, which is like half a mile off the trail. So we're walking in and everybody started clapping, and I got chills. It was just such an amazing moment, so yeah, then we settled in, and I actually went to, there's the general store, and then there's like Grumpy Bear, so it's another little store area that you can get a hitch to. So I hitched over to Grumpy Bear's because I wanted to go to Triple Crown Outfitters, and someone named Yogi, I think she's the owner, and she's there. So she has a lot of really good insight for the Sierra, because she has done the PCT before and is a Triple Crowner. So I wanted to go there the next day. So set up camp. So that was day 51, and then day 52, had breakfast and went to Triple Crown, got crampons, so intense stuff, because the Sierras are intense. There's a lot of snow. Still, even though it's, I think today's January 7th, well, when I'm filming this, but June, I mean. So early June, there's still a ton of snow. So I got some crampons, I got some Merrill boots, so I am wearing boots, and some snow gaiters, so ready for the snow. She was really, really helpful excuse me, I'm doing a bunch of tongue twisters today. Maybe it's all the snow hiking, but anyway, yeah, future PCTers, go see Yogi, because she has so much great information and great suggestions, and the prices are pretty fair for the gear as well, and you can resupply theirs too. So did that, and then made my way over back to the general store, which I had actually a better time at the general store. So the shower was really great. It was like open to the outdoors a little bit. So I was like looking up and looking at the trees and the sky, and it was kind of hot, so it was nice and cooling. And you don't have to wait as long for your food, and it's more quiet. Grumpy Bears is more of a party scene. So just FYI, again, I'm giving a lot of tips for future PCTers just in case. If you want a more quiet atmosphere, the general store is probably the way to go. And so that was and then I was really discussing with my group. So we have 7 people in my group that I'm hiking the Sierras with, and they're all really great. Someone's experienced as well and using like an ice axe and stuff. So we discussed kind of our game plan, and then day 53 we headed out in the Sierra. So exciting. There was no snow that day, but there was a climb, and there were also thunderstorms. So I guess that's typical Sierra weather. Thunderstorm sometimes rolls in around like noon. So that's kind of what happened, but it was still kind of warm. So yeah, that is a brief glimpse. And later on, I'm gonna give you kind of, since the Sierras are so beautiful, I took so much footage, I'm gonna give you guys a look at what I've been seeing in week 8 too. And I will be giving an update for the rest of the week pretty soon. Good morning. I'm a little bit behind on my entries, I guess you could say, or my videos, but the Sierra has been pretty challenging, so I haven't really been able to, take these videos while I'm hiking, because I have to be fully like focused on, you can see back there, the snow. And oh my gosh, I just realized my hair is a mess, but anyway, right now, I'm actually in week 9 right now, but I'm going to update you on week 8. I camped near Mount Whitney, and I'll show you kind of about where that is. It's right back there. Such a beautiful camp spot. I woke up at sunrise and watched the sunrise over Mount Whitney. So anyway, that update will be in week 9. But back to week 8. So days 54 through 56. Day 54, we had a pretty big day in my first intense snow. So we did 14 miles. I don't know how, because it was pretty difficult. Actually, you know what? It wasn't as difficult as week 9, so we'll get to that. But I got to use my crampons for the first time, which I love. I feel more stable. They're like micro spikes, but more intense, so the spikes are larger. So yeah, really like those. Got to practice walking. It does feel like I'm bionic woman or something, because they're kind of heavy, so I think I look like a robot when I'm walking. But if it's gonna make me more stable when I go over Forester Pass, etc., I'll take it. So yeah, we hiked into this, I think my favorite camp that far for week 8. Unfortunately, it was called Death Creek Campground. I think maybe whoever named it was trying to drive people away because it was so beautiful. But yeah, really beautiful campground. And we got in somewhat early, so we got to enjoy the views and have dinner together with my group of 6 other people going through the Sierra. And yeah, it was a good day. I felt a lot more at ease using my crampons and practicing with it. So day 55, we had a lot less snow, so I didn't have to use my crampons at all. But someone in our group, Kool-Aid, is the most experienced in snow travel. So he taught us like how to kick in the snow to be stable just with boots or trail runners, which I have boots. So that was really, really great. I'm a lot more confident walking in snow now that I know the proper techniques to do that even without micro spikes or crampons. So more skills being learned. That was a pretty short day. We did about 10 miles and got into camp very early. So we got to like bond as a group, which was cool. Went into this like meadow that was nearby and discovered some, a stream and all that stuff. So we did some exploring. So yeah, another good day, another easy day compared to week 9. And day 56, we went into Lone Pine. So it was a pretty easy hike. We had a little bit of a climb, but we knew town food was inevitable, so it made it easier. And got a hitch right away into town. So yeah, did some chores, did some laundry, got, of course, first things first, we got food at Alabama Hills Cafe, which I highly recommend if you're going to Lone Pine. Lots of great hiking near Lone Pine. So it is quite a drive up though, but so beautiful. So for any Southern California locals or just California in general, or anyone in general really, I highly recommend Lone Pine if you're into the outdoors. And that is the wrap up for week 8. Good morning. So this is my last day in the desert, which I'll show you. It doesn't really look much like desert. It looks more like Sierra, but technically desert section of the PCT. Sorry, my like backpack is in the way. Give you the full view. So I will be in Kennedy Meadows today. So for those of you who aren't familiar with kind of the milestones of the PCT, the first big milestone is finishing the desert section. So there are, I think, 5 different sections. So 3 in California and then Oregon and Washington. So California is, first is the desert. Second is the Sierra section. And third is the Northern California section. And then, yeah, the big milestones are like the halfway point, which is in Northern California, and then Oregon and Washington. So once you enter a new state. So this is my first big milestone day. I'm so excited. Woke up pretty early. I woke up at like 5 because I have 19 miles, unfortunately, to hike in. I usually like to minimize the miles for when I hike into like a town or something. So the way things played out, I have kind of a big mileage day to get in there, but that's okay because I got up early. But anyway, really excited. I'll be breaking 700 miles, and I am going to give you a little tour of Kennedy Meadows since it is such a big milestone being done with the desert section. Also wanted to give a summary of the desert section. So the desert in 2019 was not what anybody expected, I guess you could say. So everybody hiking the PCT, or at least the people I've talked to, expected everything to be hot and dry, which is what I expected as well. We knew the Sierra was going to be snowy late into the season, but we thought the desert was going to be hot and dry. So it was the opposite for the most part. So it did rain quite a bit. The wind was so cold. Nights were freezing. Snowed, hailed. ice on my tent, like all that good stuff. So for future PCT hikers, I would just say be prepared for anything, including like ice rain and then over 100-degree heat. So for example, I brought my umbrella. You can see right there, mostly for the heat actually. Bring sunscreen, clothes that cover you up, but also bring your rain gear and bring your puffy, because you never know in Southern California, you never know what's going to happen. You don't want to get hypothermia and that sort of thing. So yeah, totally unexpected, but a lot of good things about it. It was a very beautiful part of the PCT, and water wasn't as big of an issue. So I know in like last year in 2018, it was a dry year, so there were longer water carries because there weren't as many streams. So there's good and bad to 2019 weather on the PCT. So, and then kind of the general trend I found was you're going up and down, up and down, up and down, mountains, down to the desert, mountains, down to the desert. So the general trend in my mind was you go from freezing to melting, freezing to melting, freezing to melting. So it did make things interesting. So anyway, yeah, that's the desert on the PCT in 2019 in summary. Pitching.
Nice. Comfortably now. You didn't get the grumpy burger either. No way. I think it has like every other burger I saw was a double.
It's too much, you know? You know you enjoy it because you are.
All right, we escaped the vortex. We are leaving. Woo!
We are all. Just have a bucket full of skateboards and then you take one. And then at the bottom.
Ready for the Sierra. here's my home for the night with an amazing view at about mile 730 called, unfortunately, Death Canyon Creek. They're probably trying to drive people away, but it is beautiful. And there is where we're gonna have dinner. Okay, drying out all of our gear from the dew this morning. Calzone, Stevie Wonder, polo, sneakers, and this is my second day in the Sierra, and wanted to show you the view. There's a trail. So beautiful. Wounded Warrior Project update for week 8. So this week I wanted to highlight Peggy. Thank you so much for donating to the Wounded Warrior Project. And just a little bit of background for people who are just tuning in. Part of the reason I'm hiking the PCT is to benefit the Wounded Warrior Project. And what I'm doing to make it a little bit fun is if you donate on GoFundMe, there's a little section when you donate where you can put a comment. And if you put a little inspirational quote that's not too long, I'll read it on here. So this week is Peggy. Thank you again for your donation. And her quote was a little bit longer, so I wrote it down. So I'm gonna, if I look down, that's why. So this quote is really beautiful. It's from A Course in Miracles, which is a book, and I have actually been wanting to read it. So right on, Peggy. I think it's by Marianne Williamson, and I've actually seen her speak, so she's amazing. But anyway, back to the quote. I will receive what I am giving now. To everyone I offer quietness. To everyone I offer peace of mind. To everyone I offer gentleness. So beautiful quote. Thank you again, Peggy. And if you guys at home like this content and would like to support me in my journey, please donate to my GoFundMe. That benefits 100% of the proceeds go to the Wounded Warrior Project. And you can go to GoFundMe.com and search Pacific Crest Trail Hike for Warriors, or I will also link that below to make it a little bit easier for you. Thank you in advance, and I will check in again in week 9. gear update for week 8. So this was the week where I switched over from my desert gear to my winter gear. So I did go over my winter gear in my gear videos. That is like the pre-PCT video section. So you can tune into that if you want more details on like my clothing and everything. But I did add some things to the mix. So something I did have that's like a big deal is a bear canister. So it is like 2 pounds. So I you know, obviously have to bring that into the mix. So I did make some cuts that I didn't really want to make, but I had to just so I could carry my pack. So I got rid, well, I didn't get rid of, but I sent my umbrella back home and my bucket to clean my feet because I figured I'm going to be in snow, so my feet aren't going to be as dirty because they're going to be wet all day. So I sent my umbrella back home. I sent some clothing home to swap out for, like, for example, this. This is like an REI base layer. I sent my sun shirt back home to make room for this. So did some swapping, and again, I did go over that in my gear videos in the PCT section of my YouTube channel. But I'm trying to think. Okay, so what did I add to the mix? So I added a sleeping pad. It's by Gossamer Gear. And I also went over this in week 7, but I finally like received everything now. So also got some split time Oakley sunglasses from my friend as a birthday gift. So thank you, Kim and David, for that. They're wonderful. I'm using them all the time. Really good quality. So definitely recommend those. What else? So obviously crampons. I went to Triple Crown Outfitters in Kennedy Meadows, which I highly recommend. If you're a PCT hiker, go talk to Yogi there. She did like a full consultation with me. Thank goodness, it was really crowded in there, so I got lucky, but it's worth the wait if there is a crowd in there. So she fitted me for, she has so much, she's done so many things. She's a triple crowner. She's hiked the Sierra so many times. So she recommended that I get boots. And so the way my feet are shaped, they're pretty wide. So I got men's Merrell Moabs, and I'm in week 9 now, and so far they are working so great. I love them. No issues with them, no foot issues. They stand really well in the snow, especially when I'm kicking correctly. And I also got crampons, so I got those fitted on my boots, and snow gaiters. So not everybody needs snow gaiters, but when I walk, I kick my ankles. So I wouldn't want to kick my ankles with huge spikes on my feet, aka crampons. So those kind of protect my ankles from being impaled. And Triple Crown, what else did I get there? I think that's it. Received my waterproof socks, and also my sock liners. I did get Smart Wool glove liners, but they were too big. I got a medium thinking that'd be correct, but I ended up getting some Black Diamond liners in an extra small. I guess my hands are smaller than I thought, in Lone Pine, so got those, and I gave my Smart Wool liners away to a friend. I think that's pretty much it. But oh, I also got my trekking poles with snow baskets. So I sent my other ones home for now, and I'll get them back later. So I'm gonna try, if I have time today, to lay everything out and show you my full like winter gear. Also received my ice axe, which I already had. So I went over that in my pre-PCT gear video. But yeah, I will try if I have time. If not, then there won't be a video about that, but I'll try to lay everything out so you can see everything. Otherwise, if I don't have time to do that, after I'm done with the PCT, I'm going to do a full gear recap. I'll get pretty in depth with that, and like I'll tell you how long things lasted, what I ended up using for the snow section, etc. So yeah, if I don't get to it today, I will get to it eventually for you guys, just so you know what worked for me and what didn't.